参加旅行团更好，因为更哎呀，
加油！
这个因为可以自由自在的做安排，自由自在的吃饭，可能你参加旅行团，你不会看很多景色，很多地方，很多经历，是不是？我觉得你两个 points 就是非常强的，就是做自己的安排的地方，这个很清楚，我觉得。然后你可以试试尝一下不一样的菜。我能看得出来你特别喜欢吃饭，但是旅游一个很重要的地方就是吃新的菜，所以我觉得这个是很强的地方。然后这个就是说明为什么你不参加旅行团就可以让你经过市民般的生活。我也觉得你偶然跟我们说你自己的经历，所以我觉得这个很好。我觉得有的地方可能需要一些多的details 细节。比如说你说坐地铁应该很有意思，我同意。我觉得每个城市有不一样的交通规则，所以有时候挺有意思。但是我觉得你可以更说一点，然后你的表演也很好，因为你经常你经常看我们的眼睛，然后你说的慢慢的、清清楚楚的，所以这样也非常好。一个改变的地方可能就是对于表演一个改变的地方可能就是动作一点儿，因为你经常看你的 notes， 所以你的身体有一点儿僵硬 stiff 僵硬，所以这个我觉得就可以提高一点，但是这个不是这个演讲的目标，所以我觉得没事儿。OK， 谢谢。
Our third and final evaluator for this evening is Ursula, evaluating Sue Young's speech. If you could please welcome Ursula.
Sue had a lot of work to do for this particular one because she was putting together a lot of pieces that are components of prior speeches. This is actually number 7, and it talks about visual aids and facts, and I wanted to just go through the questions here because I think it would be a nice outline for someone who hasn't given this speech yet. So when you hit that, it'll be somewhere in the back of your head about what is required and what things are going to be used to evaluate the effectiveness of it. First question is, how well did the speaker's topic apply to the audience? I think quite well, because this is something that's very common within American culture. It's not, like Sue was saying, it's not something that would necessarily be thought about in Korea, but it's definitely something that people think about here, or at least do. So it's very relevant. And in terms of the research, was the topic well researched? I think yes, because she provided several different sources of facts from her findings. And then how well did the speaker support his or her main points? I think quite well. Again, that I think couples nicely with the previous statement about several different sources. And the support material, was it appropriate to make the point? Yes, it was directly related to statistics about who does this, how many people do this, different parts of the world, different parts of the country, etc. And did the speaker vary the types of support material? I thought that it was interesting to provide factual information as well as anecdotal information. So you had conversations with people, so that kind of gave it a human connection. If you were to write something a little bit more authoritarian about the subject, authoritative about the subject, that might be taken out, but for a speech I thought that was appropriate. How clear was the speaker's purpose? Here's an area I thought, well, I wasn't so clear. I thought it was an interesting sharing of culture and ideas. I wasn't clear because I didn't know, were you in favor of it? Were you not in favor of it? Were there pros that were definitely, yes, this is a benefit, this is great, and it's kind of an 80-20, it's stacking up on this side, or cons, hey, this sucks, why would people ever do it? I kind of wanted to see a little bit of division, either from a pro and con perspective or your own opinion. And did the speaker take advantage of body language and vocal variety? I think there's an area where you can work on for the next speech. Again, this is focused mainly on research, so it's not too surprising that that is an area where it kind of took the back burner. What could the speaker have done differently to improve the speech? I thought, how many men change their last names for the women? So maybe twisting that a little bit and seeing, is there a statistical change? And you might not find much data, but I thought, let's be a little curious about, is this an option?
Several states in the United States allow men
See?
change.
Come on, honey, this is what I'm looking for. So that would be a little kernel of something that is like, oh, a little surprising. Because the whole changing of the names for women is not a surprise, but this would be a little like, did you know?
Good point. Good point.
And what did you like about the speech? Even though I said, I didn't feel a whole lot of pros and cons, I did like your neutrality in terms of customs. Thank you.
Right, let's see how we did on Oz Om's word fillers. Debbie, if you could please stand and give your Counters report.
大家好，我是你们的核考官，我要给我自己的报告。开始的时候 Kayla 跟 Samuel 你们没有讲，这种核考官所以很好。Ellie 也没有，对吧？苏庸
50. No, just kidding.
讲了21次，最喜欢讲的字是和 like， 所以小心点。Andy 讲了3次，你用的字是你没有说，所以 Michael。Ursula 说了6次，最喜欢用的字是所以小心。Marco 你说了6次，跟他一样喜欢说
Which Marco? I'm
One of you guys. And then Johan 3 times. Oh. New person 4 times. What's 4 times? Alberto 0, Robert 0, Allison 4, Ursula 1. That's it.
Good job.
I'd like to invite Andy to provide his grammarian's report, please.
那我首先应该说的，今天演讲大家都非常好的，对我有很大的影响。因为那个题目有他们的讲法都很好。不过还有一点点的一个很小的错误。首先那个Kayla，sorry。这就是2个很小的一个，比方说，你说的是 to keep the vigil, and in English we would just say to keep vigil. Yeah, we wouldn't say the. And one other small one is it was amazed to see. We would just use the gerund. It was amazing to see. But, those are small things. Samuel. I don't have any criticisms of Samuel. He spoke in Chinese. It would be very. 那我不敢当，我怎么批评？ what is your native Chinese dialect?
Cantonese.
I could tell you had. I could hear some Cantonese words in there a little bit, but really it's pretty good Mandarin, I think. Not bad at all. I know many Cantonese speakers of Mandarin, nowhere near as good as you are, I think. So, generally speaking, I didn't get any problem. Sue also did a very good job. A couple of very small things. She said, you said we call like the Western. 一讲的像我的女儿也差不多。我的女儿也是经常这样说的。It's kind of, you know, it's really common. 年轻的都讲的就是这样的。So you picked up a habit from other young people in USA. It's not your real problem yourself. It's a problem with everybody and young people. So those are the main three speakers. Other people, let's see, on the tabletop, a couple small things. Marco did a very good job. He said, I took a note that you said integrating to this culture instead of integrated to this culture. A small note, but that would be one thing. But you speak English so well because you're from Hong Kong, and no one would ever question that. But there's still a few small things like that.
Thank you.
That's all I'm gonna. Everyone did a great job, and that's enough.
Good job.
And last but not least, I'd like to invite Ken to share his timers report.
Thank you. For our first speaker, Kayla, I was not here. Robert, do you have a time for her speech?
I actually have it.
Oh, so Philip has it. Okay.
It's 6 minutes and 3 seconds.
6 minutes and 3 seconds, so that is on time. That is very good. Next, let's see here. Where's my... Next was Samuel's speech. That was 3 minutes 41 seconds, so it was a little bit short. The speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. And Sue's speech was 7 minutes 10 seconds, and that's perfect because it's not stated, but once the red card shows, you actually get 30 seconds, but you don't get any indications of when that 30 seconds is up. So pretty much once you see the red, wrap things up and finish your talk.
Good point.
Next, we've got the English table topics session, and Elliot, speaking in 2 languages, spent 2 minutes 30 seconds, so that's very appropriate. Occasionally the Table Topics Master will give like a 7-minute speech up here, and that's really not appropriate. We want to hear from the different members of the group. Then Johan, again, he spoke for a couple minutes, which is completely appropriate. We're actually running ahead of schedule today, so I'll add in a couple comments here. First, when Johan said he was at a bar, I had a little trouble. I mean, do you always hang out at bars? It was you were with your aunt. So I tease and I kid a little. And for the Table Topics respondents, again, it's 1 to 2 minutes. Green is at 1 minute. Yellow is at 1 minute 30 seconds. Red is at 2 minutes. And Andy spoke for 35 seconds. Michael spoke for 58 seconds, so almost the minimum. Ursula spoke for 1 minute 59 seconds, so perfect. Marco spoke for 1 minute 50 seconds, very good. And Yitze spoke for 40 seconds. Next, we've got the English table topics. I might be mixing this up a little bit. Let's see who. Oh, okay. Robert spoke for 53 seconds. Your name again? Wasim?
Yeah.
Spoke for 50 seconds. Alberto spoke for 1 minute 5 seconds. On the introduction to the evaluations, Joanna spoke for 40 seconds. Robert spoke for 2 minutes. Allison spoke for 3 minutes 25 seconds. In in giving an evaluation in Mandarin, so that's perfect. Just under. Ursula spoke for 2 minutes 59 seconds. Again, very good. And Debbie spoke for 1 minute. Andy spoke for, I think it was 2 minutes 30 seconds, 3 minutes, something on that order. And that is my evaluation for today. I am mad at the city of San Francisco because they delayed my arrival at the meeting today. So.
Now I get to give my general evaluation of the meeting. So the role of a general evaluator is to take a look at the meeting as a whole and share with you the strengths that the club has so that you could be sure to continue to do that, and also provide insight into areas that the club could improve upon. So there are 3 main strengths I'd like to point out today. The first of which is I loved the dynamic between the Mandarin and the English Toastmaster today. I think they deserve a round of applause. It was clear that they did a lot of rehearsal, and this role play in the beginning really pulled me into the meeting, and they kept it going throughout the meeting, which was really interesting. I love that. The second is all of the faces in the room. I know that we're having logistical problems as far as the location, but it's so great to have a lot of members here today to attend the meeting and lots of new guests. So keep that up. I think you guys are doing great in that regard. And the final thing that not all clubs do is I like that the evaluators introduce the speaker. I know it didn't happen for Kayla, but we caught up and did that for the second and third speaker. But it's really great in that they've set the foundation. The evaluators provide the criteria that they'll be evaluating on later, and also introduces the speech to all of us so that we know Soo-young was doing her 7th speech, which was around research. So as we are evaluating and providing feedback for Soo-young, it could be specific to research. So I thought that was great. As with any club, there's always areas for improvement. So I'll share my feedback. You can take it or leave it. The first of which is that I noticed there were several members here that were shocked that they had a role, or they weren't sure about what role they were fulfilling. So I would encourage that the Toastmaster, or in this case Toastmasters, send out a notification a week, a few days prior to the meeting, say, hey, these are the meeting roles, and this is who's fulfilling them. That way you can get a confirmation. It benefits you twofold. You can get a confirmation from the folks that are fulfilling those roles, and everyone's on the same page about who's doing what. Second, I really would like the timer to be in the line of sight. I think the way Ken did it really worked. It was functional, but it could also be a little distracting so that we can see him flip the page. And I think us as the audience, we don't need to worry about the time. That's a speaker's job. And lastly, I would encourage that the table topics portion, although the topics were great and energized the room, I would suggest minimizing the introductions, keeping the questions very short, because that's really the opportunity for everyone in here who doesn't already have a speaking role to come up here and speak. And by minimizing the question, making it a little bit more straightforward, that will bring up more people to the stage. Again, I always love coming to this meeting. I'm always energized afterwards. I look forward to coming to it after a long days of work. So thank you for providing me the opportunity.
Can you tell us what you feel our meetings? Do you like it, or would you like to come back?
Yeah, I definitely love it. I think I will come back. I think it's very well organized, and it's very efficient. It's very efficient, and in very short time we did a lot of things. A lot of people speak. I will come back. It's really good.
So what I liked? Well, I thought that the table topics was really fun. I mean, it allows allows everybody to engage. I like the speeches, how the evaluators did the evaluation and evaluated the speakers. I completely agree that the timer should have been there because it's a little bit distracting. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely come back again. I just think the fact that I don't speak Mandarin makes, half of it difficult. But I think if I spoke Mandarin, this is an amazing place to be. So thank you.
Hi. I guess I didn't really know what to expect coming here. I had no idea what Toastmasters really was. So I would say I definitely thought it was very interesting. I think I definitely will come back. It was nice to see.
So now comes to next week's agenda. With that, we would like to welcome our club president, Robert.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. We had a wonderful meeting with our two Toastmasters here, giving us a great show tonight. So, again, let's give them a round of applause for the great work. Now, before I go about and setting next week's agenda, I have some couple of announcements I'd like to make. The first thing is we'll be changing our location of the meeting next week, beginning next week. We're going to be meeting where, Kathy?
It's at 2 Harrison, 4th floor.
Okay, let me just get this out. 2.
And may I add something? The entry to the building is sort of in the middle of the block. The first time I went there, I was walking around on Harrison.
Yeah, if you approach from Spear or Embarcadero, there's a plaza in the middle. So you go through the plaza. There's entrance from the plaza side or on the Harrison Street side.
And you said it's 4th floor?
Yes, 4th floor.
4th floor. Okay.
Is there any bike parking for the people who?
Yes, there is a garage right under the plaza. What's the next street? Next street from Harrison.
Folsom?
Folsom?
Yeah, Folsom.
Folsom.
You enter the garage from Folsom, in the middle of the block. There's
Okay.
a bike racks. I parked there too. There's 3 racks. Actually, 3 rows of racks blocked there.
Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and have Kathy send me the instruction. We'll put it on Meetup, and we'll send out an email to all the members so they'll get a better understanding of how to get there.
Yeah, and hopefully you guys can RSVP on the meetup so Robert can send me the list, and I'll hand it to the security check-in. It's pretty simple. I don't think you need to show ID as you enter here. You just need to sign your name, what floor you're going, what time you're going, and you sign out.
Okay, so make sure you sign up on Meeting if you want to go next week's meeting.
And it's a great space. It's a very good space to meet. So be excited about seeing it for the first time.
It's an architectural firm.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
World class.
So it's going to be a lot more comfortable than sitting here and just trying to squish through. So that's the first thing. The second thing I'd like to talk about is in 2 weeks, the second Wednesday of February, we're going to be having a speech contest. Again, the speech contest, the first one is international speech. That's a 5 to 7 minute speech of the topic of your choice. And the second one is the telltale speech. That's going to be an exaggerated speech, and that's going to be between 2 to 3 minutes.
3 to 5. 3 to 5 minutes.
Oh, 3 to 5 minutes. I'm sorry, 3 to 5 minutes. And so we're going to be doing that in a couple of weeks from now. So keep that in mind. If you want to participate, let the VPE know soon so we can get a list of people who want to do that, and we'll get that set up. That's 2 things. The third thing is if all the officers could stay behind after the meeting, we're going to have our first officers meeting for this month. And so that's pretty much all I have. I'm going to go ahead and set out the agenda for next week. So let's go ahead and get started. Who would like to be the Mandarin